Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Ranking Member Yarmouth, for your leadership. It's an honor to be on this committee. Ms. Turner, on April 8th, 2016, you were quoted in the New York Times as describing President Trump's proposals as, quote, sketchy and inadequate. You went on to say, and I quote, he has to flesh out his proposals with much more detail if he hopes to persuade voters that he has a credible plan to replace Obamacare. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, sir.
Do you still believe that?
That was a very early preliminary list of 7 points that he issued during the primary season.
Do you believe he has now articulated a comprehensive plan?
He is working with members of Congress, as I think is really very appropriate, and looking forward to.
Can you point to any specific changes that he has offered now different from your statement in April?
Yes, he gave a major speech in Pennsylvania on November the 1st and outlined a very different and visionary kind of approach to
what specifically?
We return much more power to the states, deregulate the market, give people many more choices of coverage.
I thought he has been saying that since he announced. Was there any specific changes he has offered since your statement in April?
He has been, he is working with members of Congress. He does not do, as I think the Obama administration.
Okay, if I can move on. President Trump also had called for removing barriers to imported drugs from other countries, same as, by the way, Senator Sanders. Now, you're opposed to the president's policy on that, correct?
I believe that there is a great risk to the American people of imported drugs that we do not know.
So you disagree with President Trump when it comes to imported drugs?
Yes.
And you disagree with Bernie Sanders, and you're on the opposite end of what President Trump is proposing on that. Is that correct?
I think that there are legitimate safety concerns that the federal government, including former FDA Commissioner Mark McClellan,
I appreciate that. I just want to be clear that you're on you disagree with President Trump when it comes to that.
Yes.
And your op-eds consistently, as you disclose, to your credit, say that your organization is funded by the pharmaceutical industry. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. We receive some funding from the pharmaceutical industry, but we've brought broad funding from individuals inside and outside the health sector. I respect that,
but on all the op-eds it says you're partly funded from pharmaceutical industries. In your own McClatchy editorials?
Virtually every person in the think tank has some funding from pharmaceutical companies because they believe in innovation.
Could you disclose to this committee which pharmaceutical companies fund your organization and how much money you receive from them?
That list is really a proprietary information. It's basically how we have special relationships with all of our donors inside and outside the health sector.
With due respect, when I have to disclose every financial interest I have, my spouse has, because if I'm going to articulate a viewpoint on something, the public has a right to know what financial interests I have. I would suggest if you're giving testimony to the United States Congress that the public should have a right to know what financial interests your organization has.
We disclose those on a 990 form that we file with the Internal Revenue Service every year. The Congress has seen fit to allow the lists of donors to remain private as proprietary information because it's basically our intellectual property. How do we get our funding?
So you are unwilling to disclose which pharmaceutical industries companies are funding your organization or how much money you receive from them?
It would be unfair to them because we receive funding from many other organizations, a great majority outside the pharmaceutical industry.
So the pharmaceutical funding is less than the majority?
Oh, absolutely.
That really is not the purpose of this hearing. I think the witness has already answered that she is following the law. If you would like to ask another question, I think we ought to stay on the topic of what we came here to do.
Well, Madam Chair, I think that the issue where the President has said that he is for the importation of drugs, and that's an important point in this debate on health care, the witness is offering an opinion that is in opposition to the President of the United States, and I'm trying to understand why she believes what she believes and if there are financial interests that may be coloring her opinion.
Mr. Khanna, I think the witness has again answered that she is following the law. Now, if there's a part of this that you would like to change the law, you certainly have the authority to be able to offer a bill.
I see
know
my
I've-
time has expired.
Thank you.